Hey, what's up, everybody? Have you heard about the Texas State Fair and how empty it was recently? For those of you who don't know, the Texas State Fair that's held in Dallas is a big deal every year. And there are those out there who believe that as that state fair goes, it really tells you about the state of the economy and where things are across the country, not just in Texas. So I wanted to share with you something that recently came out about the state fair. So here's what happened. A Dallas content creator named Jared Gines went to the State Fair of Texas this year, and he noticed something strange. The crowds practically gone. He said he could walk right up to Big Tex for photos. Big Tex is this giant statue of a man, I believe wearing a cowboy hat and boots, that's a staple at the state fair. And everybody loves to get photos in front of it. And he said he could walk right up to Big Tex for photos. No lines, no crowd, something he's never seen in decades of going to the Texas State Fair. He posted about it, and the internet lit up with thousands of comments from people saying the exact same thing. They just can't afford to go this year. We're talking $150 to $350 for a family of four once you add in tickets, food, rides, and parking. People are saying they're having to choose between paying rent and taking their kids to the fair. Now, the fair's PR team says, hey, inflation is real. Vendors set their own prices, and they say we're not immune to the economy. And they're right. Everything costs more. Food, housing, even fun. But here's the deeper truth. When families can't afford a funnel cake, it's not just about the fair anymore. It's a mirror of the economy. Wages aren't keeping up, the job market's cooling off, layoffs are creeping in again, and even people with jobs feel broke because every dollar gets eaten up before every payday. So the fair is just one snapshot of a bigger picture. People are cutting back on the little joys because the basics cost too much. And when that happens, it's not a spending problem, it's a stability problem. Because when people have to skip community traditions just to keep the lights on, that tells you everything about where we are as a country right now. So if you're feeling this squeeze, you're not imagining it. This is just inflation. It's the reality of an economy where the average worker is hustling harder and getting less in return. The real question is, what happens when the middle class can't even afford to feel middle class anymore? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're trying to navigate this shifting job market, I've included the link to my full interview training course in my bio if you need help landing that job. And follow me for more real-world insights on jobs, hiring.
Texas MAGA supporters are furious as empty state fair leaves America. Now listen. The state fairs, once a symbol of pride, family and tradition, now stands half empty because of one thing. People are leaving, are shifting. People are doing one thing: exodus. Now listen, crowds are gone. Both are closed. Booths are closed, and the fairground that once roared with life now echoes with silence. Now, local are furious, especially MAGA supporters, blaming the economy, inflation, and failed leadership for killing what they call the heart of Texas. Now, for decades, the fair was more than just rides and corn dogs. It was community, business, and spirit. But this year, everything changed. Rising prices drove families away. Vendors couldn't afford rent. And now, even small farmers who brought their animal to showcase said it is no longer worth the cost. People call it the empty fair, a reflection of broken economy and a warning sign of what is coming next for the American middle class. Now, this is Global Health. Subscribe, share, and leave a comment in the comment section because I'm here to remind you when the fair goes quiet, the country is hurting. Now, let's start the video.
So I'm seeing a lot of people saying now is not the time to be talking about politics in regard to the flooding. Yes, the fuck it is. I know you're mad that I said if you voted for MAGA, you voted for this, but you did. Feel free to tag any MAGA voter you know in this video. Even the ones who were sitting on here crying about being misled, because I've seen multiple videos now. I don't have sympathy for these Trump voters coming over. We were lied to. We were misled. Y'all called us sheep, stupid, brainwashed, liberal idiots. We tried to tell you. Kamala tried to tell y'all. Her economic plan was signed off by 23 Nobel Prize winning economists. I will never shut up about that, because if y'all weren't smart enough to read it yourself, because like that dude I stitched, he's like, we don't read the bills. Why would we read any of that? We trust what they tell us. We were telling y'all. He told you. Trump even said it. Y'all voted for this. He said he was going to do it. Kamala said the only people who said he wasn't going to do Project 2025 and do all this other shit was the people who voted for him. Well, he said, but he didn't mean it like you're taking everything personal. If you voted for MAGA, this is the exact time to talk about it. If you voted for MAGA, all of the unalivings that have occurred because of the National Weather Service being cut, the tornado in, I think it was Missouri, the flooding now in Texas, all of that, you voted for that. You voted for that.
I did not see a single MAGA hat or shirt or anything today at the local fair close to where I grew up. So I went home to Connecticut to where my parents live, and I went to this big fair that I've gone to ever since I was a kid. And this is not, like, I know it's Connecticut, but it's Connecticut does have some like country-ish areas, and this fair has like tractor pulls, it's got livestock, I watched an oxen pull today. It's that kind of vibe. And I feel like in the past years I would notice the people with the MAGA hats and the shirts and just kind of be like, ew. I didn't see a single one today. Not a single one. And I mean, the fair was a little less crowded than usual because it was rainy, but none. And I didn't see any of the booths. Usually they have the t-shirt booths where they sell all those shirts with all kinds of random crap on them. And usually there's the ones that have like the MAGA shirts. I didn't see any of those either. And I'm curious, like, I don't know. On the internet, they're loud as fuck. I saw some people on the overpass the other day on my way to Connecticut, but I was really surprised to not see any of it. Are tides changing? What do you guys think this means? Do you think it means absolutely nothing, I just wasn't paying attention? Or do you think things maybe are changing? I don't know what to think.
So the MAGA crowd is losing its mind over the NFL's pick for its Super Bowl halftime show, Bad Bunny. Now let me be perfectly clear. Bad Bunny isn't just an artist. He is the biggest Latin superstar on the planet. But of course, MAGA doesn't see a global icon. They see an enemy. Why, you might ask? Because he called out Donald Trump for disrespecting Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. Because he endorsed Kamala Harris. Because he stood up against ICE raids that was tearing families apart. And now he's about to headline America's biggest stage, the Super Bowl. Instead of celebrating diversity, MAGA is crying, woke propaganda. They're mad he sings in Spanish. They're mad he bends gender norms. They're mad a Puerto Rican man has more influence over young people than their orange messiah. Bad Bunny's halftime show is bigger than football. It's culture, standing tall in the face of hate. It's America's future versus MAGA's past. So let me ask y'all this. Why does one artist's freedom of speech send Trump followers into meltdown mode? And what does it say about MAGA when a man in a skirt in a Spanish verse scares them more than poverty, climate change?
Everybody vote. They say the Texas State Fair, the world's biggest state fair, is empty. And that state fair holds millions of people every single year. That's like my favorite thing to do since I've been living in Texas. Everybody.
Reporting live from the United States of Embarrassment, I have your breaking good news now. Here's the thing. The Texas State Fair has always been a huge deal. A lot of people have been coming out of town, from out of state, to come to this amazing fair with a bunch of foods and everything. However, they are showing record number of people not in attendance. It's empty. It's empty. And here's the thing. The Texas State Fair has been known to just pack the house. The thing is, a lot of the people that were in attendance were Hispanics, Latinos. They don't want to go. Is ICE going to be there? Absolutely not. Also, we don't have money. We're not going to spend $300 at a state fair when we can do something else with that. So the thing is that even though you want to push these people out of the country, guess what? They spend money. They spend money. And if they're not spending money, you know that we're not spending money. So, yeah. I wanted to wait to address the whole discourse of Taylor Swift's new album versus everything else. I just want to say this, and I hope that the people that follow me can understand a little bit of just lore. I'm not a bad bitch. I'm not a savage. that line, it's not a great line. It's not a great.
So y'all know I'm from Mississippi. Ain't no doubt about it. You can hear it in my accent. WLBT does a coverage, and they pretty much say, "Oh, Andy Gibson, the guy that orchestrates the fair, the commissioner, he said, oh, attendance this year was low, and a lot of Mississippians didn't go to the fair this year, and we were just wondering why." So this year's numbers, 2025's numbers, are smaller than last year's numbers, 2024, but 2024 they still, broke even. And the year before that, 2023, that was the best year out of all 3 years. 23, 24, 25, 23 was the best year. And they're just like, oh, we don't know why. Ooh. Okay, as a Mississippian and as a Jacksonian, you got the damn fucking fair right up the street from my house. I'm going to put y'all on since y'all really don't understand. So I'm going to help you out. I got to put on my scholarly glasses because I have to spell this out for y'all. Mwah. Remy too. So the first reason why it didn't go as the way you want it to go is because it's in Jackson. And when I say the fairgrounds are up the street from my house, it's probably a 10-minute drive. 10 to 15 minutes at the most. And that depends on I-55 or 220 traffic, or if something is really popping off on State Street and it's making it hard for me to get over there. Anyway, you got people coming, but then because it's Jackson, past the fairgrounds, y'all see that Whataburger, y'all see the cookout and shit over there. Jackson is still Jackson. Downtown Jackson looks like it should be called Southside Jackson. So you telling people, oh, I know you want to have a fun time with your family. This event that
economic collapse behind an empty states, Across America, inflation is breaking families. The price of gas, food, and housing is keep rising every single day. But paychecks stay the same because somebody who has been employed by the government can never receive their own paycheck. And this is the second week of when the government was shut down. Texas struggle hits fairground. Parents say they couldn't spend $100 for rides and food when their groceries bills already doubled. So, small vendors once hopefully packed up early, losing money instead of making the money as they thought. Even fair employees said attendance was the worst they ever seen. And now, it's becoming political. MAGA supporters across Texas are furious, blaming Washington inflation, politics, and leadership they believed betrayed working Americans. Social media exploded with posts saying they have destroyed the economy. Even our affairs can't survive at all. So, too many empty fair isn't just a local problem. It is a proof that the middle class is collapsing. They see it as another side of a country in decline, a nation losing its culture, its confidence, and more like its hope. They are being destroyed by the economy of the US. For thousands of small business owners, the Texas State Fair isn't just a fun event, it is survival. From local farmers selling honey to food trucks serving a barbecue, this was their one big chance to make profit of the year. But when the crowd didn't come, the losses were devastating. Many vendors told Global Tales that they won't return next year. They simply can't afford the fees, travel costs, and supplies anymore. And when small business collapse, the community collapses with it together. And then there are the farmers, the ones who built fair legacy. Some drove hours to show their cattle and produce, hoping for recognition, but now the fewer visitors, their stall sat empty. For generations, farming was of Texas. Now it's a struggle to survive. When the fair loses its farmers, it loses its identity. Texas State Fair isn't just an event, it's a mirror. And this year, that mirror showed that truth American is hurting. The joy, the laughter, the spirit, all the fading under the weight of financial struggle and political division. It's not just Texas, it is the same story from coast to coast. Communities fading, traditions breaking, and families tightening their belts. Now, the empty fairgrounds of Texas are more than headlines. They are a warning. When the middle class can't afford joy, when the small business can't survive, when the tradition starts to die, a nation is in a big trouble. But every collapse revealed a truth or a chance to rebuild. Texas will rise again, but this time the people know the fight isn't about politics, it's about survival. This is Global Thread. Subscribe, share, and leave a comment in the comment section. If you are a member here, give me a comment. I'll come back and reply to every comment that any of you would have given to me. So till next time, I'm out.